At 40, an emotional reaction is no longer a mistake. It is a tax. Every time you lose your temper, raise your voice, or snap under deadline, you transfer leverage to someone else. The room notices. Your family feels it. Your enemies count on it. Pressure does not create your weakness. It simply reveals where your discipline stopped. Marcus Aurelius did not govern the Roman Empire from a place of comfort. He wrote his private journals while sitting in a tent on the frozen northern frontier, surrounded by plague, war, and betrayal. He wrote a single directive to himself: choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. This is not self-help. It is tactical emotional insulation. When you master emotional control under pressure, you gain an immediate, asymmetric advantage over everyone around you. While the crowd panics, overreacts, and leaks energy, you remain static, cold, operative. You become the anchor in the storm. Consider a senior executive at 46. Call him David. David spends 20 years building a division. One Tuesday morning, a foreign market shifts. A regulatory body changes a rule overnight. Half his projected revenue vanishes before his second cup of coffee. The instinct is immediate: anger, blame. Emergency meetings called in a state of visible alarm. He wants to control the regulator. He wants to curse the market. He wants to force reality to match his expectations. This is where most men and women break down. They conflate what is happening with their reaction to what is happening. Epictetus, born a slave, understood power dynamics better than most kings. He divided the entire universe into two columns: things within your absolute control, and things outside of it. Your reputation, the market, the actions of your spouse, the weather, the economic climate, these sit entirely in the second column. Your opinions, your impulses, your desires, and your immediate actions, these sit in the first. When pressure spikes, the untrained mind attempts to grab the second column and bend it by force. The result is internal friction, high cortisol, poor decision-making. Tactical step: the 10-second physical decoupling. When a crisis lands on your desk or in your living room, execute this physical protocol before delivering a single word. Lock your jaw and hands. Do not speak. Do not gesture. Inhale slowly through the nose for 4 seconds. Exhale for 6. This activates the vagal nerve, signaling to your central nervous system that you are not under physical attack. Audit the input. Ask yourself one question: does my immediate anger alter the external facts of this situation? If the answer is no, the anger is useless. Discard it. Law I. Focus exclusively on what responds to your will. Everything else is background noise. Pressure is not an obstacle to your work. Pressure is the work. Marcus Aurelius used a specific metaphor for the human mind: a raging fire. When a small flame encounters a log, the log smothers it. But when a massive blaze encounters that same log, it consumes it, uses it as fuel, and grows brighter because of it. Marcus wrote, "The mind adapts and converts to its own purposes the obstacle to our acting. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Most people over 35 are exhausted because they spend their energy fighting reality. They say, "This client shouldn't be this difficult. This supply chain issue shouldn't be happening now. My team should be more competent." The word "should" is a cognitive drain. Reality does not care about your preference. When you practice Amor Fati, the love of fate, you stop wishing the pressure was less. You accept the exact parameters of the crisis as the precise training conditions you required. Case study: the betrayal at 50. Consider Sarah, a founder who discovered at 50 that her longtime business partner was secretly siphoning accounts and preparing to strip the firm's key assets. Her initial impulse was devastation. Years of shared history destroyed. She could have spent 3 months in a cycle of rage, explaining her grievances to anyone who would listen. Instead, she applied the forge metaphor. She stripped the emotion from the event. She viewed the betrayal not as a personal tragedy, but as an audit. It revealed vulnerabilities in her operational oversight. It exposed gaps in her legal contracts. She did not complain. She built a new framework, restructured the capital, and insulated the firm against future risk within 48 hours. She treated the fire as fuel. Tactical step: the frame inversion. Whenever an adverse event occurs today, force your internal narrative to shift instantly from reactive to objective, using this two-step reframe. Reactive frame: this catastrophe is going to ruin my quarter. Objective frame: this event tests my operational capacity. I will resolve it quietly. Do not indulge in narrative embellishment. State the bare facts of the situation, free from emotional adjectives. Law 2. A flame consumes what smothers a spark. Convert every friction into fuel. In ancient warfare, a city was protected by outer walls. But if those walls were breached, the garrison fell back to the citadel, a central, fortified stronghold built on high ground. No matter what raged in the outer streets, the citadel remained unbreached. Your mind must function as an inner citadel. When pressure builds, it usually hits your outer wall, your schedule, your finances, your physical comfort. If you have built no internal fortress, the disturbance moves straight to your core. You become irritable. You make short-sighted decisions. You seek immediate relief instead of long-term resolution. Stoicism demands that you erect a boundary between external events and your internal state. Seneca put it clearly: a man is as wretched as he has convinced himself he is. The pressure you feel is almost never caused by the event itself. It is caused by the story you tell yourself about the event. The event is neutral. The market shift is neutral. The difficult conversation is neutral. Your interpretation gives the event its charge. Tactical step: the view from above. When you feel overwhelmed by immediate operational pressure, practice the Stoic exercise known as the view from above. Step back mentally from your current physical position. Visualize yourself sitting at your desk or in your vehicle. Zoom out. See the building you are in. See the city. See the continent. See the thin blue line of the Earth's atmosphere. Recalibrate the proportion. Recognize that the meeting, the deadline, or the financial loss you are facing is an infinitesimal blip in time. Return to your body. The event remains, but its weight is gone. You are back inside your citadel. Law 3. Never allow an external event to breach your internal perimeter. Control under pressure cannot be summoned on demand if you live in constant comfort. It must be trained when the stakes are zero. Seneca advised his friend Lucilius, set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, "Is this the condition that I feared?" If you only test your emotional endurance when your business, marriage, or health is on the line, you will fail. You must build friction into your daily routine. Cold exposure, not for health trends, but to train your mind to remain motionless when your body wants to flinch. Fast deliberately. Remind yourself that hunger does not dictate your mood. Delay gratification systematically. When you want to check your phone, wait an hour. When you want to respond to an inflammatory email, wait until tomorrow. By exposing yourself to small, controlled discomforts, you expand your capacity to handle chaotic, uncontrolled pressure. Law 4. Train the discipline when the sea is calm, so you do not sink when the storm arrives. You do not need more advice. You do not need another video. You need to close this screen and return to your work. The next time pressure arrives today, when a deadline compresses, when an employee fails, when a family member provokes you, do not react. Pause. Decouple. Step inside the citadel. Let the room scream. Let the situation unfold. You remain motionless. Evaluate the facts. Determine your action. Execute quietly. No explanations. No defensiveness. No noise. The crowd talks. The disciplined build.